talking to a 40-year-old man, brother. All right, what is happening, guys? It is Brian Alsruhe, NEVERsate.com, and I'm here with 2019 U.S. Strongman National Champion Joey Szatmary, the owner of the Lion's Den, and brand new member of the Jiu-Jitsu community. So you just got involved.
Yeah.
I have been involved in grappling and MMA for many, many moons, on and off, in and out, injuries, non-injuries, different things. I have a lot of experience between the balance of the grappling along with the pretty heavy training and things like that. And I know that's something you're new to, but I get asked this question constantly, DMs, people leaving comments, talking about how to balance their jiu-jitsu training along with their heavyweight training. So you are brand new to this. So what are you feeling in your body? Are you feeling more tweaks, more, what's going on?
I think there's a lot going on when you first start. One, because you're so new and raw to it.
Yes.
You're trying to figure it out. And jiu-jitsu is one of those things where, like, you know it's going to be like a long term.
Yes.
It's not going to come overnight.
It's a marathon.
And you got to grasp that kind of early on.
It's learning a kinetic language.
Yeah, or just like they say, like, you know, playing chess with your body essentially.
Yes.
And I'm not a chess player, so it's very new. I would say, for me, what I had realized is typically I could only make it at nighttime to go. So what I had found out is going at nighttime was actually kind of, once you get that adrenaline dump, I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out
running stuff over in your head, like I got stuck there.
Exactly.
What could I have done?
Yeah. Or just like the fact that you're like actually like fighting someone off of you. I think you're just constantly in a fight or flight situation.
Yes.
So being able to like
different type of amped.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of get used to that and figure out like what works for your schedule or when you can go. But I know we had also talked about too, like a lot of this depends on your training partner as well.
Yes.
And how kind of hard you're going in training. So if you're like new and like a white belt, you're very like rah rah go go go. Yeah. And I think the sport, or maybe you can say art of jiu-jitsu, is not to really be like that. Or knowing kind of like when to turn things on and when to turn things off. And I'm by no means like I'm a white belt, so I'm totally learning all this as I go. But just like kind of being able to take my time and breathe a little bit more during, you know, when I'm rolling, and just figuring out the right kind of training partner to have, you know, and like you said with lifting, typically, actually how I've been kind of doing it is working almost like an opposite schedule, and you can do either way, I think, like where you can either go hard on jiu-jitsu on your hard days, or you could go light on your light days. But what has worked best for me personally has just been kind of like flipping that around. So it's like on my heavy days, I have like light rolling.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then on my light days, I'm kind of going harder and heavier in my rolling. I don't know, like really that's just what's personally worked best for me. You can probably talk more about that or what you think. But I think what more has to do with it is your training partners, because it's very easy to get injured in jiu-jitsu. I'd say I have like cuts all over my hands all the time, my toes, like every day that I roll.
Broken fingers, broken toes, tweaks, elbows, shoulders, constant.
And it's just kind of nature of the beast. So making sure that like if I'm rolling with Brian, it's like my health is in his hands, his health is in my hands.
Don't break your toys.
Yeah, totally. But you can talk more about it. Like I'm like super excited just because I'm learning it, I'm involved with it. I'm gonna die with a black belt jiu-jitsu at some point. Like that's how I'm gonna die. I don't know if it'll take me 20 years, 30 years, whatever. I don't even care. But it's been very. I'm like addicted to it.
Sure.
Like
it is addicting.
Yeah, and it's like my meditation, getting that flow state. So I'm like super hooked on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in my time, actually, when I first got involved in Strongman, I was training for like my first Strongman competition and my first nationals, things like that. I was rolling close to like 10 sessions a week. I was competing pretty regularly at that time. I have a good bit of that in my past. Right now, throughout all that time, I've never really considered the recovery between my lifting as well as my jiu-jitsu, because for me personally, jiu-jitsu has always been more of, it's almost like yoga for me. Like my lower back gets super tight when I'm lifting heavy all the time, just static doing that. But the jiu-jitsu allows my lower back to loosen up. I can move around, my hamstrings loosen up, my hips, my ankles. Just getting into the positions tends to break up a lot of adhesions that I can't get with someone with me rolling out like a lacrosse ball or something. You get someone laying on top of you, it's literally like being at a chiropractor immediately. Someone puts you in like side mount and your back just all the way down. So for me, like you mentioned, it is all about the training partner and your own ego. So if you are watching this video, most likely you lift weights, and that means something is wrong inside your head, like something is wrong inside our heads, in that you want to be more powerful and you want to be stronger, you want to impose your will. Now, that is all well and good until you get two guys together and one of you literally just tenses up a little bit, all right? All it takes is one dude tense up a little bit, and if you are into this game of pushing heavy things, your mind immediately goes, I'll show you, because everything you do against weights is like, I'll show you weights, I'll overpower you. Someone goes against you and you feel that resistance, and your natural response is to go, I will stop you, I will hold you, right? And you get super tense, right? Which anyone who is any good at jiu-jitsu will tell you that is the absolute worst thing that you can possibly do. However, you are fighting an instinct that you've been using forever, right? Fighting is about relaxation and being able to breathe and stay calm when everyone else can't. A lot of times when you go into a situation, someone tenses up and you tense up, you're burning so much oxygen, but on top of that, you're gonna start getting overuse injuries like bicep tendonitis, and your elbows are gonna start killing you, and your wrists and your grip, and a lot of things are just gonna get super beat up that would not happen if you could just relax. So, and that relaxation only comes with ego. So guys, in most jiu-jitsu places, because most guys who do jiu-jitsu don't look like Joe or I, okay? Jiu-jitsu attracts a lot of different rounds of people, but a lot of people are very cerebral, like for lack of better terms, like dorky guys who are like programmers, tall and lanky and skinny, that literally you go up against and suddenly you're getting tapped, and then you get your feelings hurt a little bit, and you're like, you're not gonna do that again, I'm gonna tense up, and then they tap you again. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not what you expect, and so you need to leave your preconceived notions at the door. And for all of you who think like being big and strong makes you tough or dangerous, it absolutely does not. Like, you go against someone who knows what they're doing on the ground, you're swimming with sharks. You're not in a place that you want to be. If you're standing up throwing punches, everyone has a chance. A blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. If you're on the ground with someone who knows what they're doing, you stand zero chance. Zero. It is a great art to learn. For women, you learn how to fight off your back. It's an amazing, amazing thing, right? But the problem is when your instincts tell you to be strong and to tense, and that's everything you train multiple hours a week. Well, when you go to some place and you're like, just relax, man. When someone's pushing on you, you let them push you. Like, don't fight back, it's not a big deal. That's a very tough thing for most guys who do what we do to give up. And so a lot of guys are like, man, this jiu-jitsu stuff just beat me to death. Jiu-jitsu's not beating you to death, man. You're beating you to death, your ego. You're not allowing that dude to like get to you or whatever the case may be. You just need to relax, learn the motion. So what I personally do, when I walk into a jiu-jitsu class or I go against somebody, there's always a little bit of intimidation because people think, even in jiu-jitsu class, guys who are killers, just absolute killers, if I walk in, they're still like, I don't want to fight that guy. And I'm like, well, then you don't know things because you're going to destroy me, right? When I go up against that guy, I know there's some intimidation. I know they're a little bit more tense than normal, okay? And they want to do a little bit of, let me see what he's got, let me see what he doesn't have. But my game in jiu-jitsu is to come in literally like a limp rag at first and kind of feel what they're gonna give me, and that's how you kind of start, because jiu-jitsu's like a dance, right? You figure out what the other person's intentions are. You get close to people so quickly in jiu-jitsu because you're in this bubble. Yeah. You are here all the time, right? So like, if someone's a piece of junk person, you find out in minutes. They don't need to say anything, they don't need to do anything. It sounds hippy-dippy, but like the energy that comes off them and how they manipulate their body and your body, you know immediately how someone is, right? And so I go in loose and I try to feel what's going on. If someone starts trying to use muscle and whatever, I very calmly will typically grab like a forearm or a leg, and I will squeeze it, and I'll squeeze it like I mean it, and I will lock them down and I'll put it wherever I want it to be. And literally I will just whisper, I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm just, stay loose, man. Like, we're just rolling. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just, stay loose, be cool. Like, because man, that's how you get hurt. The second that you start getting in this little ego fight of you're tense against me, I'm tense against you, then you get choppy, right? Everything goes out the window. That's the last thing you want to do is tense up. So for those of you who are having trouble recovering between sessions, try to think of it more like yoga, man. Some sessions you go in and maybe you want to win and you want to get your rounds and you want to do what you want to do. You go ahead and you do that. Just know that you're probably not getting any better and you're probably upping your chance of injury. For everyone else, take a couple sessions and go in and be like, I don't care if you're a white belt, blue belt, purple belt, no belt, first day, last day, I don't care. I'm gonna be a ragdoll. I'm working this position and I'm gonna let you work, and I'm just gonna go through, I'm gonna flow, I'm gonna do what I need to do, right? But I'm gonna stay safe. And you'll be shocked at how much smoother your game gets, how much better you get, and how much less injured you get. And some of those sessions will act almost like active recovery, a yoga or a walk. It can do the exact same thing, and that's what I use some of my sessions for. There were some where you have to get after it, don't get me wrong, but that's not the whole game.
Yeah.
And the second thing I'll say about this is don't try to do your own programming, guys. Get involved with someone who is in the fight sport, who does programming, not necessarily us. Find someone who's more involved in the fight sport than us. Do whatever you gotta do, but do not think that you are smart enough to balance something like strongman or super heavy deadlifts with rolling 4 or 5 times a week, because you will quickly overtrain yourself and you'll fill up your plate too much, and then you're gonna end up hating it and hurting yourself, and it's not gonna be good, okay? Find someone who's been there, down that road before. It's not weakness, all right? I could probably change my brakes on my car, but I don't, okay? When it comes to my well-being, I'd rather trust someone who does it all the time, pay them a little bit of money, and feel better about it so that I'm not gonna run myself into the ground, okay? Yeah. So definitely trust that. And then the second thing, or third thing I'll say is about specificity.
Yeah.
Like you talked about. If you wanna be truly great at jiu-jitsu, weights are a very, very far afterthought. And if you want to be 2019 Strongman national champion, you weren't thinking
let's go roll 10 times.
It wasn't where your priorities are. So I'm not saying you can't do both at a very high level, but realize at some point the greatness takes time and sacrifice, and eventually something like jiu-jitsu, in order to be good at jiu-jitsu, if you're going 2 times a week, you're probably not getting that much better. Jiu-jitsu is very similar to a language. If you're trying to learn Russian and you're spending 2 hours a week on it, you're never gonna learn Russian, right? Like, you need to spend time, you need to get in there with other people. So, if you wanna be really great at something, it's gonna take that time. So don't get frustrated if, as you get deeper into the game, one kind of pulls away and you're like, you know what? I just kind of like rolling now, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe 5 years down the line, you have a neck injury and now you can't roll as much and lifting comes back in, but do what you love, do what's passionate, because both are just life-changing things that if you allow them to teach you and learn you to get rid of your ego, that's the biggest thing. So we're all fighting time, and time wins, and your last PR and your last fight is coming. But if you don't learn something during that time, then you know what I mean?
Definitely.
I am so stoked that you're involved in jiu-jitsu, and you were completely man, you let's come up and roll. We're actually going to take some B-roll now and try to do a little bit of rolling. Just go after. I know that you guys want to see it, so we're not going to try to kill each other because we are working out right afterwards. But yeah, man, I so appreciate you coming down and just doing all these video stuff.
It's a good journey.
Guys, if you are not subscribed to Joey Szatmary, make sure you go over there and you get that done. He's got awesome videos, awesome content. Like I said, high-level caliber athlete in a bunch of different strength sports, and I'm sure it's not going to be long in jiu-jitsu. So jiu-jitsu guys, watch out. Strength guys, you already know about them. So thanks a lot, Joe. I appreciate it.
Bro.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
thanks.
Cool.
Been good.